What if a controller could instantly tell a story before you even pick it up? Not just through branding, but through design, history, and the kind of visual identity that's been burned into pop culture for decades. That's exactly what PlayStation is aiming for with the brand new 007 First Light Limited Edition DualSense wireless controller. And today we're going to take a deep first look at what makes this one stand out, why it matters, and whether it's actually worth your money. Right away, this controller makes a statement. The golden sheen isn't subtle, and it's not supposed to be. This is PlayStation leaning fully into the identity of James Bond. Elegance, sophistication, and just a little bit of danger. Gold has always been associated with luxury, status, and power, and those themes line up perfectly with the legacy of 007. But what really elevates the design beyond just a color swap is the detailing on the touchpad. The radiant barrel design is an unmistakable nod to one of the most iconic visuals in film history. That classic gun barrel sequence that opens Bond movies, it's one of those design choices that instantly clicks if you're a fan, and even if you're not, it still looks incredibly clean and unique compared to standard controllers. And that's really the key here. This doesn't feel like a lazy limited edition. It feels intentional. According to the design team, every element of this controller was crafted to celebrate the return of James Bond to gaming after more than 13 years. That's a long time for a franchise this big to be mostly absent from the gaming space, and instead of just dropping a game and calling it a day, they're building an entire presentation around it. This controller is part of that, a physical representation of Bond's legacy meeting modern gaming hardware. Now let's talk about what you're actually getting beyond the visuals. At its core, this is still a DualSense controller, which means all the features you expect are here. Adaptive triggers are going to give you that resistance when you're pulling the trigger in-game, which should add a layer of immersion, especially in a Bond-themed experience where gunplay is a major component. Haptic feedback is also doing a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to immersion, letting you feel environmental effects, explosions, and subtle movements in a way that standard vibration just can't replicate. So while the outside is themed, the inside is still one of the best controller experiences currently available. Where this controller really ties everything together is with the release of 007 First Light. This isn't just another Bond story. It's a reimagined origin story. You're not stepping into the shoes of the fully formed, confident 007 we're used to. Instead, you're playing as a younger Bond at the very beginning of his journey, working your way up and ultimately earning that iconic codename. That shift in perspective opens up a lot of possibilities for storytelling, character development, and gameplay mechanics. It's a fresh start, and pairing that with a limited edition controller makes the whole launch feel more like an event rather than just another game release. Timing-wise, everything is lining up pretty strategically. Pre-orders for the controller go live on April 17th at 10 a.m. local time, and if you're planning to grab one, you're probably going to want to be ready right when they drop. Limited edition controllers have a habit of disappearing fast, especially when they're tied to a major franchise like this. The retail price is set at $84.99 in the US, which is a bit higher than your standard DualSense, but that's pretty typical for themed releases. You're paying for the design, the branding, and the fact that this isn't going to be around forever. The official launch date is May 27th, the same day 007 First Light hits PS5, and that's where this controller really comes into its own. There's something about playing a game with hardware that's specifically designed for that experience that just hits differently. It's not necessary, but it adds to the immersion in a way that standard controllers don't. And if you're ordering directly through PlayStation, there's even free launch day delivery for eligible pre-orders, which is a nice bonus if you want everything to arrive right on time. Now let's get into the bigger question. Who is this actually for? Because not every controller release is meant for every player. If you're a hardcore collector, this is an easy recommendation. Limited edition PlayStation controllers tend to hold their value, and some even become harder to find over time. If you're a James Bond fan, this is probably even more appealing, because it's not just merchandise. It's something you can actually use and interact with regularly. And if you just appreciate well-designed gaming hardware, there's a lot to like here. On the other hand, if you're purely focused on functionality, this might be a harder sell. You're not getting upgraded performance or new features. It's the same DualSense experience you already know. So it really comes down to how much you value the design and connection to the franchise. For some people, that's absolutely worth it. For others, it's an easy pass. What I find interesting is how PlayStation is approaching this release overall. This isn't just about selling a controller. It's about reintroducing a character and a universe to gamers in a way that feels cohesive. You've got the game, the controller, the branding, and the timing all working together. It's a reminder of how powerful a well executed launch can be when everything lines up. And honestly, this feels like one of those controllers that people are going to look back on years from now and remember, not just because it looks good, but because of what it represents. The return of a major franchise, a new beginning for a classic character, and a moment where design and gaming culture intersect in a really clean way. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think about the 007 First Light Limited Edition DualSense? Is this something you're planning to pick up on day one, or are you going to wait and see? Do you think the design lives up to the Bond legacy, or do you think PlayStation could have done more with it? And how are you feeling about 007 First Light as a whole? Are you excited for this new take on Bond, or are you a little skeptical? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And if you want to go even deeper into conversations like this, check out my Patreon. My latest exclusive is a deep dive into whether or not Xbox exclusives are dead, and it's a really interesting discussion you won't want to miss. Thanks for watching, and as always, game on.